intern already.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready, man. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? I got everything pulled up already.
Good evening,
Thanks.
everybody. Once again, welcome to Sports with Family Matters. Once again, I'm Cowboy Nation, sitting here with my brother, Angry Man. Got nephew, Tyrell. Got my other nephew, Juwan. We got a newcomer this week. Cuzzo has to work, so we're going to have EJ filling in for Cuzzo. So, Juwan, let's get started. Do a recap of all our picks from last week. Who who was in first? And my nephew Tyrell texted me a lot. Said, "Hey, I'm not gonna be in the basement this week because somebody else will. So let's just see who was."
Absolutely. So as we look at it right now, tight race amongst the family. We got a tie for first and second. Cuzzo, Sean, and Tyrell are actually tied for first. They went 11-5 in week one.
Oh,
Um, and you and me, Eric, are tied for second and for third and fourth. We went 10-6, and unfortunately, that leaves Unc Rob in the basement at 7-9 for the first week.
woo, woo.
Understandable, first week, a lot of games to be played, a lot of movement amongst the standings, and we'll go from there.
Good thing it ain't how you start; it's how you finish.
Exactly. The a couple surprise picks. As we saw last week, Tyrell pulled a rabbit out of his hat and picked Tampa Bay. They came out and won. Everyone else, uh, picked Minnesota. And then once again, Tyrell picked Green Bay to beat Chicago. We all picked Chicago. Uh, Tyrell must know something we don't, or he has a lucky rabbit's foot in his back pocket that he didn't tell us about. But yeah, my man was sitting on a couple good picks that everyone else went against. So kudos to him. But yeah, him and Cuzzo are tied there. We were tied real tight until that Monday night game, and the Jets pulled it out against Buffalo, and that's what the tie between you and Cuzzo, Eric.
Oh man, Cuzzo. Cuzzo. So I guess since we're gonna do a recap, what surprised you in week one? And you know, since I'm talking, I'll go first. What surprised me was what I talked about when we was talking. Miami. When Tua starts and finish the game, like I said, the Dolphins was undefeated. Tua started and finished the game, and he's still undefeated. But like my brother said, it was gonna be a shootout. Someone said it was only gonna be 30 points. I'm not gonna say who that was. He was on top. He said, "Oh, it's gonna be 28 to 12 or 14 or something." But my surprise was with Tua. He threw for four and some almost 500. Tariq had
466.
215 receiving. So that was my surprise for week one.
Now, yeah, I'm gonna go with you, but on the opposite side, the surprise was the Chargers defense. I thought they would have a better showing. You understand that the Miami offense is prolific, but you put up 35 points, and all you got to do is make one stop. Like Justin just needs one stop on defense to win the game, and you can't do that one time in the game. And albeit it was a tight game throughout, but at the last minute, you put your defense out there, and it's like, hey, this is your time to go win us the game. We gave you enough points in your back pocket to get it done. Now I just need one stop. I need one third down, get off the field, that type of deal, and they couldn't do it. Albeit it's one person. It's not the dynamic duo of Jalen Waddle and Tyreek. It's just Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle had 78 yards on 4 catches. I'm like, you can double Tyreek. Please double him. Somebody lock him up for a good 5 seconds. That's all you need to do. But that just speaks to the talent that they have in Miami, and it could be to the detriment of the Chargers there. I mean, it's a consistent note that we have every year on the Chargers. Their defense gives up points, or they can't stop a nosebleed, and they put up points like it's nobody's business. So it'll be interesting to see how they fare going down the stretch in the first half of the season.
Well, I had 2 surprises. One was the Bucks beating Minnesota in Minnesota. Minnesota put up a lot of good offensive numbers as expected, and they still lost the game. We thought Tampa Bay was going to be a down this year. They came out and surprised everybody and got a big win in Minnesota. But the major surprise was the goose egg laid up by the New York Football Giants. I mean, they got dominated offensively, defensively, and special team wise, all 3 phases of the game. The Cowboys scored on all 3 phases of the game. I mean, they dominated the offensive line, looked horrible. They couldn't get Danny Jones no protection. He running for his life. They had a good first drive, and after the first drive, it was over. That was it. The game was over. So I was very disappointed in that right there. But hats off to the Cowboys. They got a victory. Good job. It's a long season, though.
All right. My big surprise was the Detroit Lions beating the Kansas City Chiefs. I know Detroit had a great year last year on defense. I think they lost most of the games within a touchdown. If so, I think it may have been one game that they might have lost outside of a 7-point spread, but most of the games they lost within 7 points. But even though Kelsey didn't play, I still expected Mahomes to come out and put up numbers, and I don't know what happened from there.
It's kind of hard for Mahomes to throw the ball and catch it when you got people dropping it. And it's kind of hard.
Yeah, so that was another thing. I ain't never seen so many receivers drop so many passes in one game. I mean, just like Uncle Rob, no way he can throw the ball. Well, I can't say that because Jawan did it one time when we were down the ball to himself. But in NFL, I guess you can't do that.
And then one of them was a pick 6 that was right in his hands. It went off his hands, pick 6. That's a difference in the ball game right there.
Yeah.
I mean, for Mahomes to go in there and play the way he did without his leading targets, I mean, I think he did good enough to just add them in the game. They should have won.
Right.
If they catch the ball.
Yeah, that's why I was expecting it. Even though the biggest target, regardless of who's on the team, I still expected them to draw something up and make it easy for the receivers to get open, ball and run. But they got to catch it first.
Yeah, thanks. All right, so I'll speak on my surprises. I got 2 quarterbacks that surprised me last week. Mac Jones keeping us in the game against the Eagles surprised me. He threw 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, and then Jordan Love, the way he dominated the Bears. Like, you know what I'm saying? He looking comfortable out there. I feel like he came out, had something to prove. It was like, y'all drafted me high. Y'all going to sit me behind, not even letting me touch the field. So I'm going to come out here and, just dominate. Another thing is, Josh Allen turned the ball over 4 times. Like, that's, I've said that he's top 3 quarterbacks, but he looked like he was bottom of the barrel last week. Yeah, those are my surprises.
So I think we all got pretty good surprises. Hopefully the surprises keep going. Some of them don't keep going for week 2. I also want to go to biggest disappointments in week 1.
Mm.
And I guess I'll go first. It was just MetLife Stadium. I think there was a lot going on in MetLife. Sunday night, I think the Giants disappointed us because I thought I'm a Cowboy fan, but I thought it was going to be a better game. It was going to be a closer game than it was. And I think the biggest disappointment was Aaron Rodgers only playing 4 plays. And like EJ said, Josh Allen, it's like you throw 3 interceptions. Whitehead just hit his incentive, they said, because that was an incentive, 3 or more interceptions, he get $250,000. So he got his season bonus in one night because of Josh Allen. And I just think that that's the reason why the Bills get to the predicament that they are. When they win 10, 11 games, Josh Allen forces, because they was closer to the end zone, about 2 of those interceptions easy. That's 6. It depends on how many points, but we give it worst case, that's 6 points. So I just think something was going on in MetLife Stadium, man. I know I'm a Cowboy fan, but I wanted the game to be closer than that, man. So just want you to know. And EJ, I saw you drinking water. I got some water coming. So if you want some water, I'm going to have some water delivered real soon. So just let me know. I got a
I'm
case on
bottling
the
up
way.
all the toilet water you can get, bro. All the toilet water you can get.
Hey, I got a case coming. Thank you.
Yeah. I think I'll piggyback on what you said. I just think, bro, the Giants' offensive line is terrible. Like Daniel Jones has maybe a second to choose who he's going to throw to. I mean, it's what I think I've seen that he got sacked 7 times. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Your franchise quarterback shouldn't be getting sacked 7 times. I mean, I just think they got to do something about that. I mean, I spoke on my other disappointment, Josh Allen. I mean, Aaron Rodgers getting hurt is crazy. You know, kudos to the Jets still winning, though. But, yeah, Josh Allen turning the ball over 4 times and throwing 3 interceptions to one person is crazy. It's like, you know what I'm saying? He must have had a white blue uniform on when they was going against him, because, yeah, I ain't never seen Josh Allen play that bad since, like, maybe probably rookie season. That's my disappointment, though, the Giants line and Josh Allen.
Well, the Giants would be the obvious disappointment, so I'm not even going to speak on that. We already know about that. I'm going to go with my disappointment with being the Seattle Seahawks and the play of Geno Smith. Geno Smith had a real good year last year. For them to open up at home against the Rams without Cooper Kupp and to lose that game, and Geno threw for about 112 yards probably. I think he threw that. That's about it.
Yeah, he did.
I think that's a major disappointment because I expected Seattle to come out and start off on a good note and have a good year. So the question is now, what Geno Smith are we going to get? We're going to get the Geno Smith from last year, or you going to get the Geno Smith from the previous years who was good for nothing? So, I mean, my disappointment would be Seattle.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and speak on it for my biggest disappointment. My biggest disappointment is Cincinnati.
Mm.
Man, you know, I'm not a big fan of Burrow. I'm not a big fan of Jamar Chase, but for him to throw for 82 yards in a total game and 43 yards and a half. The weather, it wasn't raining, just was. I don't understand how that happened.
Me personally, I think he was still hurt and he shouldn't have played. It's too early in the season for you to be risking something like that. But I guess he wanted to show his teammates that he toughened it out and he got some grit. But I think he's still a little banged up.
I understand that. I give him his props for that. But at the same time, when you try to play through too much pain or too much of an injury, you actually do more harm to your team than anything. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Sometimes you got to weigh the options. Like, I understand you're trying to gain respect from your teammates, but at the same time, when you go out there and perform like that, that puts you one game behind. What if it comes down to the end of the season? You need one game. That was one game you just threw in the trash can.
Yeah, that's a division game.
Right. So you can't waste those. I mean, I'm not saying the backup would have came in and won you the game, but we don't know because he didn't play.
And he played after they pulled him, but that's to save face.
But it's too late in the game for that.
Right. But I mean, to combat that, he by all means he did just get paid. So it's like, all right, we gave you that major extension. Now go out there and show us what you can do. But yeah, to continue on, I'd say I'm sorry I got to go at you but my disappointment was the Commanders. You go into a beaten up team in the Cardinals and you come out with a with a nail biter of a game. I thought Sam Howell was the next coming to the MVP. You got some good talent over there. And you got a great defense, but I'm thinking, they're gonna come out and steamroll them, and you got, Josh Hobbs looking like most improved out there, just wheeling and dealing. Like my man been in the backup for a few years now, but you give him a starting job, and now he out here tearing up the Commanders. It's looking like Arizona
Had
got
10
a
days
little
of
life.
practice. Had 10 days of practice.
Like he just got off the street. I'm thinking I could probably go to the Cardinals and get a couple plays in and burn the Commanders right quick. Let me put my cleats on. But yeah, I wanted more. I'm glad y'all got the win and everything, but it just shouldn't have come to that. Like I feel like the Commanders went in there thinking it was over before it started, and they got themselves into a dogfight. It's like, oh wait, we still got to go win this.
Yeah.
I mean, by all means, it's week one, so as Rob said, it's not how you start; it's how you finish. So the rest of the season is ahead of them. So hopefully they take that with Tahid and actually come up from it. By all means, looking forward to what they do, but I feel like the Cardinals should be the doorstop of the league this year. Until that guy gets there next year.
I'm not going to speak about the Cardinals until you beat them. I was always told, don't talk about a team until you beat them, because boy, you don't want to talk about somebody, they come back and beat you.
I don't think they're on my schedule this year, so I'm good. I think I'm good. I'm about to have some shoulders after this.
Yeah, you're right. My arm's starting to hurt too. Hey, quick question: how do y'all feel about Justin Fields and Lamar play Sunday?
Well, I think Lamar is going to take some time to get used to his receivers because he didn't play any preseason games. And I was watching a couple of highlights where he had Odell open on a quick slant a couple times, but he took too long to release the ball. And you got to get used to Flowers. It's going to be adjustment because the running back just got hurt. But I think it's going to take a couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks for them to get used to playing together because, like I said, they didn't play in the preseason together. So timing is everything, especially between the quarterback and the receiver. Timing is everything. So it's going to be a few weeks for that. Long as they got the win, and they only going to get better from there. I mean, so we'll see what happens later on down the line.
There was Lamar had a bad timing with Odell when he caught the deep ball. He underthrew him and threw it to him late. I think if he throws it to him a little bit earlier, let Odell run underneath it, you give him a chance to catch the ball and potentially, make a move and score, or, it could have still been the same way, catch and fall, but you never know until things happen.
Right. I feel like, he just got to get the rust up off him. He didn't throw a touchdown, throw an interception. Justin Fields, 1-1. I also think Whistling was looking a little shabby too the first game. Jalen Hurts didn't look that good to me. And I mean, 1-1, I get it, like first game of the season, you gotta get the rust off. But when you were second in MVP vote, and 1-1 just not gonna do it for me.
Oh, very true. I mean, to Justin Fields' point, it's a different year for him. Hopefully, he can build on it. He has the talent around that he needs to be the player that we think he can be. The addition to Moore and Claypool, now you have talent on the outside that can go get it. So you would hope that he can sit back there with some protection and go through his reads and get it done. By all means, it's a good Green Bay defense that he went up against. I mean, Alexander had more, tied up for most of the game. So you got to give kudos to them. But yeah, you would love to see him, going up against basically a first-year quarterback, go get the win. But that's a good Green Bay team. They'll see him again. And for Lamar, this is why you play the game. This is why you have preseason games. You don't have to, play the whole game, but you got to get reps. You can't be in football shape unless you play football. And being on the sidelines during these games won't help. The practice is just practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. You're going to get to a situation where you're going to get hit in the mouth. Protection is going to break down. The perfect look that you get in practice isn't going to be perfect in the game. So you got to work through it. He didn't have, similar to Mahomes, he didn't have his tight end in Andrews out there. Lively did a great job, in as a backup, but you don't have your comfort zone or your comfort receiver out there with you. So you, by all intents and purposes, are a little late to a couple throws, and you're hesitant to give a guy a chance. And we all know Odell doesn't have any knees, so you can't put him in too compromising of a position. So you gotta ease into it. So we'll see how his development goes. But as long as you get the win, you can patch it up. You can keep on rolling as long as you get the W.
Yeah.
And just to piggyback off of what Juwan was saying, you can practice all you want, but the speed of the NFL game is something that you cannot practice. The speed of the game is totally different. So when you get out there and you going against the ones another team, the speed, you cannot simulate that in practice. That's something you cannot get.
Okay. Last thing before we get ready to wrap up, I want to talk about the rookies. This week, one of them is going to get a win because they play against each other. Richardson, Young, and CJ. Because this week, the Colts play the Texans. So one of the rookies is going to get a win. So I just want your opinion about how do they look, which one, you feel like probably. Well, I guess I would say the Colts would have been better if they had the running back. I think it would give, it would make Richardson's job a lot easier. But without that, as you see, I mean, it's tough sledding. And I think that if I was the GM, I would have found everything in my power to make Jonathan Taylor happy, to help the quarterback out a little bit for this year. But I just think that, it's going to be tough sledding for all three quarterbacks because the teams are not the best. And one of them probably get 3 to 4 wins. But other than that, I don't see none of those teams, after watching them, be 7, 8, 9 wins. So just let me know how y'all felt about the rookies and which one have a better chance.
No, absolutely.
I mean, who's touching on that? I mean, I can go first. I just get my opinion out the way. I just think, first off, different doghouse now. You're going against some of the best. And another thing is they coming from playing with first round draft pick receivers to playing with, maybe not even top 30 receivers. It's just different to adjust, like what you said, Richardson. Jonathan Taylor takes so much pressure off of a quarterback because he can rush for 100 yards every game, easily. It's not even, that's not even a challenge for him. I mean, CJ Stroud, when's the last time the Texans have been good? Texans feel like the GMs, the Texans in general is just a disappointing team. They
score a touchdown this week. Did they score a touchdown?
Let me see. They had 9 points, and CJ Stroud didn't throw for one, so I think
so
it
that's
might have
probably
been
3 field goals. Goals.
They do have.
Yeah, I'm just the Texans team in general, just management team, it's just bad. They don't have nobody. They don't try to get nobody. They don't make no off-season moves. They're one-dimensional, just being bad. And I just feel like the rookie quarterbacks just got to get used to the league, and they just got to get them some help because they all went to bad teams.
Yeah.
To piggyback off of what EJ was saying, a quarterback's best friend is a running game.
Mm-hmm.
You get a running game, it opens up the play action. Play action. If a quarterback can run a play action, it helps them 100% of the time because they got to bite on the run. You get defenders that's going to cheat up on the run. You get receivers that can get behind. You can open it up and throw the ball. If I'm not mistaken, I believe both of them, Richardson and Stroud, threw the ball over like 38 times. That's a lot of times to be throwing the football. That's a lot of times to be throwing the football as a rookie. But like you said, this week, one of them going to get a win, and hopefully they can build off of that. It's going to be tough sledding, tough sledding for them because, like I said, they're rookies and they got a lot of good coordinators out there, and they're going to play with their mind, disguising schemes and everything like that. So it's going to be tough, but it's a learning experience. Maybe it'll pay off a couple years down the line.
Yeah, very true.
They all threw 40 times.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'd say Bryce is in the worst predicament by far of all three of them. He has talent, but that talent can't get open. I feel like I said this before week one, where you got a lot of guys out there, but if you can't get separation, you're not open. And
then we argue about this number 19 can get 8 yards for him.
I understand.
He is old.
Yards, there isn't by all intents and purposes in the NFL, you get a yard of separation. Technically, you're open. Like a good quarterback can get it to you, but the Adam Thielens of the world, they're not getting that. If you watch the last preseason game and you look at the all 20 view of it and you look at every receiver, they are hemmed up. And it's like no one is getting off of a DB making a move to get any separation. So it's like, okay, that's preseason. Like that's not even getting into the complex, regular season. So now you have a undersized to a degree quarterback back there, trying to find somebody. He can fit it into any hole.
They had that star running back from the Eagles on their team.
Absolutely. And like Rob said, you got a good running game, but when it's 3rd and 8, defenses knows you're not going to run for 8 yards. So all we're going to sit back in his zone, look at the quarterback, and we're going to go after the ball. Now I understand Anthony Richardson. He can run. He's the most talented out of all three of them. And if you give him just a good running back, he can be dynamic. He has the offensive coordinator from the Eagles, so you'll see semblances of what the Eagles did last year and what they do this year once he gets in his groove. So you'll see the RPO game. You'll see him out on the run a little bit more. But he just needs someone that can hit a hole and get going. Now, as for CJ is probably the most prolific. He's ready right now. And once he gets his feet wet and get comfortable, as EJ said, he isn't in a system that is conducive for him to grow. You need a good offensive line and you need some receivers that can get open. If they had Brandon Cooks to take the top off the defense for them, then I could see him being in a better situation. Passing for 200 plus yards is great and all, but he doesn't go down and score it for you. So that worries me a little bit that when you get into that red area, the 25 and in, what's going on? Is it the coverage you're not seeing, or is it that, people aren't getting open, or is it we're not just being efficient enough with our schemes there as we get down in that red area? So we'll definitely see. I mean, I feel like CJ might take it this week, but he is on the Texans, so anything is possible. But they have to go Ryan as their head coach, so that defense has to be ready to go for Anthony Richards.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of what Jawan said. He basically took the words right out of my mouth here, but I think
You want to take the words out of your mouth because we be worried about you half the time.
yeah, but that's what
I'm just checking.
I was gonna say that Anthony Richardson, out of all three of them, is probably the most athletic one. But I honestly think that C.J. Stroud will probably be the best quarterback out of the three of them to play in the league. But the bad problem is that C.J. Stroud is on a terrible team, which makes him look bad. You know what I mean? When you come on and somebody expects you to save an organization as a rookie quarterback and you don't have anything around you, kind of hard to do that. If Anthony Richardson had Jonathan Taylor, that RPO game would be nasty. You know what I mean? Like you there's no way to bring people in the box. You play too far back, then you start opening things up. You'd be in a world of ways of trying to figure stuff out, calling timeout left and right, trying to figure things out. So that's how I felt. But honestly, I think if somehow the Texans could get something running, I think CJ Stroud would be the best out of the three. But I think the Houston Texans will beat the Colts this week.
All right. So we talk about that. Let's do the recap. Let's pick this Thursday game. Vikings and Eagles. Juwan, you ready to get the first week? I'll give you Cuzzo pick since Cuzzo he texted me. Vikings, Eagles. Cuzzo got Eagles.
Smart man.
I'm gonna go next on this one, but I think on that game, I'm gonna go ahead and go with Minnesota on that game, bro. Justin Jefferson ain't too happy. He gonna explode next game. He going for 220 next game. 220.
He had 150.
He can go for 300. All I care, as long as he go out with the L, it's good.
That's all that matters. Yeah, W to L, boy. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
He can go for a grip. He can go for 1,000 that game. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
Can you feel what Kirk Cousins say? What do Kirk Cousins say?
Right, you like that.
You like that?
I'm going Minnesota, bro.
I like it.
Last week I was only going to pick a couple of teams and it worked out. So I'm gonna bring myself on this Minnesota right here.
Do your thing, nephew. Do your thing. Let me talk about this game for a minute. The Vikings, they put up some good numbers. Kirk Cousins, I think he had 344 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Jefferson had 9 catches, 150 yards. But they was playing against the Tampa Bay Bucks. All right, that's what it's a big difference. You play against the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles' defense is a good defense. Okay, the Eagles are battling a lot of injuries right now. I think Gainwell is out, Bradbury is out, Blankenship is out. It's not a good time to have your secondary banged up when you got Jefferson coming in town. So I think they need Slay to follow Jefferson wherever they go. So I like the Eagles to win, but it's gonna be a close one. Jalen Hurts I think he need to step up a little bit. Like you said, I was a little disappointed in his first week, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. But once again, he was going against Belichick defense. You give Belichick to somebody to prepare for you. Belichick is a defensive guru. He'll come up with something. So I like Hurts to come out this week, and I like the Eagles.
I was here for stats, but I'll definitely say this game. I think I like the Eagles. I think Tyrell is talking crazy when he say Justin Jefferson is going to get 220. Like Darius Slay's like one of them ones. I just think the Vikings can't stop the Eagles offensively. Like there's not. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They got too many weapons. Like Jalen Hurts got something to prove this week. He threw 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He's probably scrolling on social media, seeing everybody talk about him. Like, how you throwing 1 touchdown? You second MVP race. I think Devontae and AJ are both going to get. I think they're going to get 3 touchdowns combined. I don't know who's going to get 2, who's going to get 1. And I think Justin Jefferson has, if maybe 120. You said 220 on Darius, so you got to put respect on that man's name. So I'm going to have to go with the Eagles on that one. And Kirk Cousins only good at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll go because I let Juwan clean up since it's his team. Minnesota at Philly. I was thinking about going a little nutsy with my nephew, but when you think about it, Kirk Cousins in primetime games, they keep talking about it. And they talk about it. and they talk about it, and they talk about it. And guess what keeps happening? He keeps losing. He keeps losing. He keeps losing, and he keeps losing. I'm going with the Eagles, nephew. I know you a homer. You sad that Kirk Cousins left the Commanders, which was the Redskins when he's played, but I'm going with the Eagles.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
Kirk
mean,
Cousins has looked bad.
it'll be very interesting to see. Definitely, I hear the sentiments of everyone. It's definitely a quote unquote revenge game for Minnesota. This is the game where basically Darius Slay shut down Jefferson last year. But for all intents and purposes, as an Eagles fan, I know our weakness, and it's between the 20s. So the 20 to the 20, we'll give up all the yards you want. And then when we get into the red area, that's where we pin our ears back. I'm interested to see, how our front seven does with Minnesota. We have 8 great front line men out there coming at you every snap. I'm also going to stay with the Eagles there. Interested to see how the offense does, albeit it was raining when we went up to New England. I did play quote unquote a part in the game. You can't really throw the deep ball how you want to when it's raining like that, but we got the W with the injuries that we have sustained. It'll be interesting to see. I'm sure we'll have a plan for Jefferson, but Jordan Addison is also a weapon out there that will be used. I mean, he shined a little bit in the first game out, so that second corner, we may have to move our nickel to play that second safety when Bradbury's out. That leaves, one that our nickel package is in. That leaves us a little vulnerable there in the middle. So we'll definitely see what happens. And you have TJ Hawkinson. I feel like everyone is susceptible to a great tight end, and once you have a great tight end on your team, he's down to do damage. So it'll be interesting to see. Could be a tough game down the wire, but I'm sure the Eagles will pull it out. And we will fly again.
We'll fly again. It's all good. They're gonna get shot down soon.
Uh-oh.
They'll get shot down
man.
soon. Lucky, they lucky our players can't drag their toes because Mac Jones is looking like Tom out there. I'm telling you.
Yo, they was moving the ball. I get that to him. Mac Jones was moving the ball.
Mac Jones was doing good. I'm glad Jawan spoke on Darius Slay shutting down Justin Jefferson the last time they played. I don't know where you pulled 220 from. Like he ain't, you must have not watched the last game.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Last game and this game is 2 different games.
I hear you. Darius Slay still the same person.
Tell him, nephew. Let him know, nephew.
Darius Slay still the same person, and Kirk Cousins.
I'm pretty sure they watched the game film from the last time they played. They're gonna move Jefferson around.
Yeah, it's fine. And Darius Slay gonna have to move with him. I'm just saying, Kirk Cousins. We've seen Kirk Cousins in prime time games. Kirk Cousins looks like a little leaguer when the lights are on. I don't think Kirk Cousins will get it done. I think if Justin Jefferson has a good game, Kirk Cousins is going to be the reason that the Vikings lose. He throws some of the worst. Like he just throws it into, like he tries to force that ball to Jefferson. You double Jefferson, the ball still might go to Jefferson. He just doesn't. He doesn't play smart. And them Georgia boys are just too much pressure.
Oh, that's Georgia A in the NFL. That's Georgia A.
Literally, bro. The whole Georgia team gets drafted by the Eagles.
Somehow the Eagles get Philly Dogs. What we call them.
Sometimes the Eagles, I don't know how they always get in top 10 picks, but they get them.
Hey, you ain't got to worry about that, okay? Howie Roseman know what he's doing.
We're gonna have to start a scandal.
Top 10 pick. We got Carter, we got Nolan at the 32nd pick, so I don't know how he pulled that.
How that happened? Yeah.
Hey, we got him. Now, we just do it.
Yeah, they got the whole Georgia front line just waiting for Kirk Cousins.
Hey, we ready for him.
And they don't have what's the name no more, right? They cut Dalvin Cook, right? They don't got Dalvin no more.
Dalvin with the Jets.
Yeah, so I mean, I just want to see what happens. They got the Eagles winning 6.5. I think the Eagles might win by like 14.
Nah, yeah, I feel like the game plan should be make them one dimensional and then go from there.
Yeah, like
If Kirk Cousins is passing more than 35 times this game, then the Eagles should win.
yeah, you're probably winning when Kirk Cousins is throwing more than 35 passes. I mean, just like my father said about Tyreek Hill, if he killing them, double. Let somebody else beat you.
Mhm.
Gotta double
Absolutely.
him over the top. Might as well triple him. Get a linebacker watch in the middle, safety, and a corner.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining the recap show and Thursday night scores. We'll be back Sunday morning with our Sunday afternoon and the early games and the late games Sunday. Once again, thanks for joining Family Matters, talking about sports. See you next time.